What will happen to Shanda, Vander, and Paul Ferguson in prison? Let's get into it. Now, before I tell you how vicious their torture will be in prison, let me break down the case a little bit. This is the biggest failure from state agencies, federal agencies, parents I've ever seen. So everything started 2022. They get a call from the mom, Shanda, saying, my son is dead. Oh no, playing the role. Bullshit, right? Straight demon. And when they come there, they find the kid dead. He's 14 years old at the time, Timothy. They weren't even sure if he really was. They had to verify it because he only weighed 68 pounds. Upon further investigation, they see hot sauce, they see zip ties, all types of torture methods. They see that he's been living in the basement, that he's got a just dirty diaper on him, that he's got clothes that don't fit him, he's bruised, he's just malnutritious, just all fucked up. And of course, the mother has an excuse, blames the kid for everything, says that, oh, he's got a disability, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. But the reality is she's a demonic piece of shit that somehow beat the system and tortured her fucking son to death. And her son, Paul Ferguson, was the enforcer who was part of the murder, part of all of this. It couldn't have been done without him. So what they would do is starve him. They would literally feed him food with hot sauce all over it after not eating for 2 or 3 days, make him puke it back up, kept him in shitty and pissy diapers for days on end, sleep deprive him. They'd have him run up and down the stairs in fear for his life while the coward Paul Ferguson would chase his brother for exercise. They would have him sit on a wall for hours in a dirty diaper in darkness, day in and day out. Now, what is insane is, one, the mother didn't even have full custody of the kid. The dad just decided one day he didn't want the kid and gave it to her. Nobody checks it out. No one gives a fuck. It makes no sense. She was only supposed to have 3 hours a month with supervised visits and somehow gets full custody of the kid and runs a torture on this poor, innocent young man and nobody fucking knows. The kid shows up to school looking so sickly that the teachers would send him home with food, try to clean him up, ask him questions about what's going on. How did no agencies get involved? Why were those teachers even letting him go home? Eventually they pulled him out of school. But before that even happened, there was an alleged sexual battery from the older brother Paul Ferguson against the little brother Timothy. It was so bad that the teachers wouldn't allow his older brother on the campus when Timothy was. How the fuck was this going on when there was multiple reports to multiple agencies? There was an open custody case open. There was all these complaints. Agencies have been informed over and over and over. And this is all going on in the house against a teenage boy for years. Torture that is unspoken of. Mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. And this is coming from their mother. Where's all the agencies at? Time and time again, guys, you have to understand we must protect our children. No matter what they tell you, you must believe them. Because I don't give a fuck what my son says. If he tells me anything crazy, I'm going in. Full investigation. I'm bringing down the wrath of my military. Everything, all my resources are going into whatever my son tells me. And I will not stop. I don't care if it takes me a day, a week, a month, a year, a decade. I'm going to come for your throat if you hurt my child. And here we are with multiple complaints. A mother with no custody of her son, allowed to torture him, send him to school, filthy, dirty, looking sickly, weighing 70 pounds. And he gets to go home to his mother after sexual abuse and physical abuse. I'll never understand how people could do this to their kids. My son is the reason for my happiness. You could take all this away, and the only thing that matters is as long as I'm a good father. So seeing this type of shit, I had talked to a few of my friends that are doing time still. Talking to my friend Cornbread, who's doing 10 years, and a few other of my friends doing time across the United States, they would bring this case up to me. That's how disturbing it is. They were wishing that this kid Paul Ferguson would land in their prison so they could cut his fucking throat and torture him the same way. But let's get into the prison part of it. So Paul is going to go through the youth authority, YA, whatever you want to call it, which is the most vicious, violent. I mean, it is off the chain. It's a bunch of youngsters, 15 to about 23, that are just nonstop fighting, stabbing, heart check after heart check. Literally, all the torture that he did to his brother is going to be 30 times worse, to the point where I think he'll take his own life. I want you guys to go type in youth offender camps, Florida, or YA camps, California, anywhere, any state, and look what it tells you. It is literally the most vicious form of torture you will ever see. And you can look in his eyes, you can see in his soul, he's a weak little coward chasing your bro. Yeah, he's going to learn quick about that heart check, about that broomstick and where they put it. I mean, they don't like that shit, I'm telling you. And this case here, you're going to get tortured beyond belief, to the point where you're so weak, you're going to take your own life. I can see it in you. I look at you. I know what you are. Now, the mother, as we know, women's prison aren't as violent, but they mentally torture women like this. They hate women like this, because you know how many women had kids taken away from them as soon as they had them in jail and had to give them right away to the system? And they would do anything to have their kids back, and you're torturing your kid and getting by the system that took the kid away from these ladies? What I was told by numerous women that done time is that they're not as violent. What they do is they torture you mentally every single day. They take all your belongings. They throw piss and shit and blood and just constantly just destroy your cell, make you go crazy. Every piece of food is poisoned, or you think it's poisoned because you've already were poisoned, just constantly mentally torturing you until you check out. I believe that the little Paul Ferguson and his demonic mother will both commit suicide. But before Paul does, I believe you'll hear about him being viciously tortured and beaten, begging to be transferred. But check this out, bro. Your little brother, he didn't get that luxury. You're about to feel real pain. Real pain. And that doesn't even do half the justice. Stay out. Stay free. Us.